Hi, I'm Chris Overstreet, and I have opinions. Yeah, the big fat head is back from a several days trip. Recording this today as all this news is coming out. Say what you like about Donald Trump. If you want new opinions, he will give you reasons to form some. Today's issue comes up with him responding to 6 Congressional Democrats who posted a video telling members of our armed forces that the law says they do not have to obey clearly illegal orders. And, of course, Donald Trump did not care for that at all. In fact, he kind of reacted, well, over the top for anybody else except Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is Donald Trump. Actually, quoting him on Truth Social, and I'm using other articles because I'm not even going to give Truth Social traffic for an instant to get a direct screen grab. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up. Seditious behavior punishable by death. And he also quoted various other posters on Truth Social calling for the Democrats to be killed. This should not surprise anyone. This is far from the first time he said that anybody opposing him is a traitor who needs to suffer the consequences of treason. And, of course, his followers, or his enablers, I should say, are joining in. For example, Stephen Miller, who is the aide closest to Donald Trump right now, had his own interview and had, if anything, an even worse meltdown. I shouldn't use meltdown. That is a gimmick phrase. Worse reaction, put it that way. It is insurrection, plainly, directly, without question. Insisting, describing the message as a general call for rebellion from the CIA and the armed services. And Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, put in his 2 cents. It said it was Democrats who were acting wildly appropriate by suggesting that military behaviors should disobey unlawful orders from Trump. Let's see. And he went on to say, yeah, that is a factual statement. And then he goes on to claim that he hasn't actually seen Trump's words directly. Because Mike Johnson, of course, knows nothing. I know nothing. So, is this business as usual for the Trump White House? Yes. For Republicans? Yes. But there are things that you need to be aware of. Things that, this is not the first bit of evidence of this by any stretch of the imagination, but you need to be reminded of it nonetheless. First off, Donald Trump is referring to this as sedition. Now, sedition in the modern context is planning or plotting or advocating the overthrow of the lawful government. And what these 6 Democrats did was definitely not that, because they explicitly point out what the law is. The law is that a person is not obliged to obey an order from a superior which is clearly on its face illegal. That is not seditious. And furthermore, bear in mind, these are 6 members of Congress. They are part of the government. I'm not going to say it's impossible for a member of the government to plot sedition. I mean, look at what Donald Trump did on January 6, 2021. But it's going to take a lot more evidence than that to get there. However, that's the modern definition of sedition. In old days, in the days of absolute monarchy, sedition was defined as saying bad things about the king. You don't have to advocate his overthrow. You just have to say that he's stupid or that he's done something wrong, and your head is for the block. And that is the definition that Donald Trump and his enablers are using here. More to the point, what we're seeing here from Miller and Johnson and various other members who I haven't mentioned of the Republican Party, conservatives are done with rule of law. Their definition of the law is whatever Trump says, that's the law. Don't obey the statute, don't obey Congress, obey Trump and Trump only. So they say that if the CIA or the armed forces are confronted with a blatantly illegal order like, say, go out and kill these 6 Democrats who just said something bad about me, rid me of these turbulent Democrats, the conservative attitude is Trump ordered it, that makes it legal. And any law against murder, nah, doesn't apply because Trump told you to kill him. Yeah, but more to the point, even more so than that, conservatives are jumping all over this because they know that Trump is already giving illegal orders. These dozens now of boats in the Caribbean and the Pacific that Donald Trump is ordering sunk and everybody on board killed, that is a blatantly illegal order. And it shouldn't surprise anybody that lower-level officers are wondering, is this going to get me into trouble when Trump is gone? I don't want to go to jail for something like this. Yeah, but they don't care. Because conservatives want that kind of government. Conservatives want dictatorship. They want an absolute monarchy. They want Trump to be able to say anything and it will be done because they think they will be on the good end of that, always. They never consider that in every case of a dictatorship, nobody is safe except the dictator. But consider this. If they thought Trump could actually get away with it, would they be making all this noise? Would they be so strident about attacking the Democrats? I don't think so. Stephen Miller and Mike Johnson and their ilk are, and especially Donald Trump, are attacking the Democrats because they're afraid. They're afraid that the Democrats that will actually reach the people, they'll actually get in touch with the consciences of the members of the CIA and the armed forces who have this right to refuse an unlawful order. They're afraid Trump might be stopped. They feel vulnerable. And this is particularly important right now because we have to bear in mind who Trump is. And as a reminder of that, let's remind you just a couple of days ago that he gave a grand welcome to the Saudi Crown Prince, who, as we know, has ordered multiple hits, including the assassination of someone who was under American protection just a few years ago. And Trump knows all about this. There's no doubt that he's been briefed about this. And when he was asked about this during the meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince, this was his reaction. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it. Would you leave it at that? You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question. Now, why would Donald Trump want to protect a man with literal blood on his hands? Because Trump envies him. Trump wants to be him. Trump wants to decide who lives and who dies. And in order for that to happen, he has to get people that work for the government to obey illegal orders. And if they refuse to obey those illegal orders, if all of them say no, Trump is helpless. Trump and his followers can't abide that. That's why they're coming after the 6 Democrats who posted the original video so hard. So, bear in mind as you go forward, conservatives want a dictatorship. Trump wants to be a dictator. Trump wants his political opponents, including the Democratic Party, dead. But Trump and the conservatives don't think they can do it yet. Let's not give him any reason to think he can. Resist. I'm Chris Overstreet, and I have opinions.